Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here with another movie review. I just recently watched the movie 47 Meters Down starring Mandy Moore. It's pretty much about two sisters who, one of them just recently broke up with her man, or a man's breaking up with her because she doesn't have enough fun. I believe that's what it is. And they decide to go out and they're going on like this vacation and they decide to go shark diving. Now, what's funny is they get told, one of the Mandy Moore's character gets told that, tourists and stuff like that shouldn't go shark diving because sometimes bad stuff happens. Especially with people who aren't really certified or good at it. And the guy who's taking him out is Matthew Modine, of all people, from Pacific Heights. He was in that movie with Michael Keaton. He was also in a brief role in Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, he's taking him out shark diving, cage diving, however you want to call it. And, since it's like this is not a horror film, this is really a thriller, but once it's set up, like when somebody tells you not to go somewhere in a movie like this, you shouldn't be going there. So they're going to head there, and they're going to go. The acting in this film is fine. Nobody's great, but nobody was bad. I thought everybody was good. Some of the complaints I've heard about this film are like, sharks wouldn't act this way, or sharks wouldn't do this or that. And that always kind of strikes me as weird, because as long as it's like remotely believable about what the sharks are doing, it's fine. This is a thriller, like, pretty close to a horror film with killer sharks. Or sharks. And the sharks here act more normal, really, more standard than anything like from Jaws or anything. These are more just standard, ordinary sharks. Or like a killer shark movie, I mean. But, yeah, they go diving or whatever with the cage. The line snaps. They fall 47 meters down. Cool setup. I like this idea, and that would really make for some tense situations. Of course, they're down there trying to conserve their air and everything. They get to the ending of the flick, and they decide to make it up by this one dude. I like how the people like up top don't just like drive away and they're like, "Oh, the hell with this." They actually go down there and try to help him, and one of the guys comes in there and try to help him, and he gets ate, and his stuff is down there, and there's some more air tanks down there, and they switch them out, and Matthew Modine tells them that they will hallucinate if they put the air on there like too fast or whatever. And you get to the ending of the film, Mandy Moore's leg gets crushed. I actually thought she was going to end up having to like chop it off, but she manages to get it free. The blonde-haired sister, I don't know the actor's name. Mandy Moore plays the other sister, and she gets ate. You see her get ate, but then she like comes back. So automatically right off the bat, you're like, well, Mandy Moore's probably hallucinating. But they play it out long enough to where they kind of trick you with it. They start heading towards the surface, and they get attacked by all these sharks, and really awesome scenes with using these flares to like scare off the sharks, and they make it up there. And they manage to make it up there to the top, and they get up there on the boat, and Mandy Moore's like looking at her hand, and it's got blood coming out of it, and the friggin' blood's like floating, and that's when you realize, oh crap, they are hallucinating, or Mandy Moore's hallucinating, that her sister actually did die. And then it cuts back to reality. She's still down there. I thought this was a cool dark twist, that her sister actually did die and she didn't make it. And the Coast Guard comes in and rescue Mandy Moore, and they're pulling her up out of there. And as they're pulling her up, she realizes her sister actually did die, and it was a hallucination. She gets saved, so she gets away. But at the same time, her sister died. I would give this movie 3 stars out of 4. I think it's a good flick. I don't think it's great. Had the ending been a little stronger, I would have given it 4. My biggest problem with the ending is the hallucination scene. I love the fact that it's hallucination. I think that's really dark to go with it by having the other sister die. But the problem I have with is the hallucination ending that we get is just much more exciting than the regular ending we get. Like after that's over and you're like, oh man, it's such a dark twist. Like her sister is really dead. And then Mandy Moore gets saved, and they start pulling her out, and it's like, oh, well, she just kind of floating to the surface. The sharks aren't even, like, trying to attack them or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, it's over. Yeah, it's just kind of anticlimactic when you got to the real ending after the big explosive hallucination ending. I don't know, just need a little bit more punch or something there, something. But as it is, I think this is a good flick. It has like I think it has like a 5-something to a 6 on IMDb, which I don't care about IMDb ratings, but all horror movies and stuff like this have like, and a lot of thrillers have like low IMDb ratings, which is funny. Horror really gets no respect as a genre. Even spin-offs of our subgenres of horror, like thrillers, stuff like that, really don't either. Not really. Thrillers get a little bit more. But, yeah. All in all, this is a good flick. I don't think it's great. It's not going to be like a classic, but this is a good time movie. I would buy this. This is just a good money spent. It's not anything that's going to blow you away, But for the tension and stuff like that, I like how they do it where the shark's like trying to bust into the cage down there where they're 47 meters down. And they're trying to do a sequel to this 48 meters down, I think, or something like that. It's just kind of stupid to me. I don't think you could do a sequel to this material. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But just, I don't think this is like sequel material. But I didn't think Open Water was either. And they made 2 more of those. And neither one of those were good. So, you know, they're going to do it no matter what. But all in all, this is a good flick. I do recommend seeing it. And I'll see you guys again with the next review.